What's up, guys? Nate Petrosky from Narrowway Homestead. I'm here to talk to you about the garage. I've already gone over a bunch of the outside of it. Now I want to talk about some of the inside plans, and they're not finalized, and again, I love feedback. But I'm going to show you what I'm thinking. If you haven't caught it in my previous videos, this garage is 50 feet long and 30 feet wide. Well, 48 by 28, but you know. And it's full of stuff right now, but I am already trying to figure out how I want to utilize this. Now, I say it's a garage. Most garages are, what, 28 by 28, something like that. So this saw cuts halfway. That would be, yeah, 28 by 24. Anyway, here's some of the plans of the inside. First, 2 vehicles in the front of the garage, like a normal garage. The whole reason this garage is longer is because most of you with garages know it's tough to actually store vehicles in a garage, because you get to doing a project, you pull your vehicle out, the project gets bigger than you thought, and then, you know, it's just taking up your garage space, and then you start a second project. I'm no different. That's going to happen to me. This spot back here, the last half is supposed to be, and that's why there's a door here, for projects, and also a place to park ATVs side by side. All that stuff will just kind of go in here. It's going to go in and out as, you know, I do stuff. There's really not going to be a lot of space. This is more like a 20-foot space, because this last 4 foot is all going to be a closet and a utility room for all the solar electrical stuff, which will be getting upgraded hopefully early to mid next year. Possibly I'll rig something up to start doing something this winter. We'll see what happens. One of the things you might have noticed already is a lot of the electrical work is being done, and there's some water lines run. I've got a bunch of lights up here, 20 watts a piece, because it's such a big garage. I've got these rows every 6 feet, and then I've got 4 across. And I think it's going to throw a ton of light. I'm just not quite at the point of actually livening them up yet. I will run temporary power in here before I get the panel box finished, so I can at least do that, but I got to get 3 wires and 3-way switches installed. I'm definitely going to do a video on that. It's really hard to find a good video where somebody can explain how it works to someone who just understands some about electrical, but it's just a hard concept to grasp for whatever reason. And I know this because it was a hard concept for me to grasp. What's up, kitties? Cat's hanging out. The other thing is a bunch of outlets. I don't even know how often they're spaced. I just threw a bunch along each wall. I think there's 7 or 8 on each side, so like 15 or 16. That should be plenty. They're all 4 foot roughly off the ground. That way, you know, workbenches and stuff stacked around, you can still access them in a house. Typically they're down here, and it just makes more sense to behind a bed or a coffee table, something like that. But a place that's going to have shelving and workbenches, it just seems to make sense to put them here. Seems to be a bit of a standard, so that's what I did. The one regret I might have with the garage, and it's not really going to be a regret, I'm going to make it fine. It's hard to see the grade in my videos. Sometimes it's hard to understand it all in person, but I had no intentions for this garage door to have like a, I don't know what this is, a 40-degree slope. Nah, it's not that extreme. Maybe a 30-degree slope. Either way, it's quite significant, and the easy answer is, oh, we'll just level the dirt out further. Well, problem is my whole yard has a slope, so until I level it out where I want it to be, my entrance ramp would be down over the cliff. So that doesn't really work. I think what I'm going to do instead is, I don't even know if I'm going to do a retaining wall. I despise retaining walls. They're a lot of work. They're expensive. I've seen a lot fail. Knew it works good for a retaining wall. Just a somewhat steeper slope of dirt. Kind of like over here on this side of my driveway. It's holding everything just fine. It's fairly steep, but it does the job. So what I'm thinking over here is just bring the dirt level and then do a slope from here, kind of down, somewhat steep. That bank can have cool plants and stuff. Jen loves plants, and she'll know exactly what to plant here and what to make look good. And plus I've got really cool robot mowers now that if it was grass, it'll mow the bank, because 4-wheel drive and stuff, and it's really awesome. And then I can just curl it around to the driveway, which is also going to work good, because in the back here, I want to keep that level all the way around too. Recently got a skid loader and a mini excavator. I'll have no trouble making that happen. It'll be good practice. I'm not real good on machines. I think I'm really good for the amount of hours and experience I have, which is very little. So I'm going to learn quickly. This is a great learning project. You can't really mess it up. You just waste fuel and time, but you know, it costs money for an education one way or the other, however you acquire it. So this isn't too bad. Part of it's flat. So I'm just going to bring this level of dirt really similar all the way around. This whole array and stuff, it's going to be next summer most likely. I'll disassemble and remove all this after I put some panels on the roof so I can make a smooth transition to a new system. And then this will get a big lean-to back here. And then the mini excavator and the skid loader can be parked underneath of that. Now these panels are facing exactly south. On that lean-to, they will face southeast. And so I'm going to catch more morning sun. And then they're really not going to do a whole lot of good, say this time of day, when it's just going to be afternoon sun, and the panels on this side of the building will take over until evening. So I'll get a longer charge time. It's going to be a lot more panels, but the panels are one of the cheaper parts of the system compared to the batteries and everything else. We got to fix your ear, minion. So that'll be the plan. It'll give me parking for my equipment because I just don't have room in the garage for all that stuff, plus projects. And the other thing I'm kind of glossing over is the second floor. So let's run up here. The second floor is huge. I think it's 19 feet between these two knee walls. These knee walls are about 6 foot tall. This is where I was testing my lights to see how much light they actually threw. Pretty basic up here. I didn't really know what I was going to do up here. I just knew if I made an interior dry space with a flat floor, I was not going to regret it. I guarantee I'm not. Already throwing some electrical in up here. I want to get this place insulated this year actually, and just see how we do over winter with no heat source and insulated, if we can stay above freezing in here. That'd be really cool, because having a place to store things, living in a 300 square foot efficiency apartment that I kind of built, well, that's, there's just not room for all kinds of stuff. Something that Jen is really into is crafts. She likes to do all kinds of craft things. She's got a Cricut. I don't even know what you can do with all that stuff, but you can make like shirts, and there's basically stuff you can do. She really can't do any of that because there's just not room in the living space. Up here is definitely going to be part of that. There's a lot of storage areas in this knee wall place. I may wall some of these off. I don't know for sure, but this gives me the option to have them open and access storage. Desks that fold out from the wall. I'm probably going to divide it into a couple rooms. I'm going to do a kind of a recording studio, really more of like a podcast room, I think, over on this end. It's not going to be very big. Again, with nothing being heated up here, it'll just be interesting to see how it all goes. It might be a seasonal type of room, or I can throw some kind of temporary heat up here. I've answered this before in a video, but if you haven't seen previous videos, you're going to say, why don't you put your house up there? And it's because I'm almost 40 years old. Jen's almost 50 years old. At some point, if everything goes well in life, we're going to live to be 70 plus years of age. I don't want to do steps at 70 years old. I barely want to do steps now. So, you know, if I was 20 years old doing all this, and at this point, I'd be like, yeah, I'd put my house up there. You know, because I've got many, many years until I hopefully get too old to have to climb stairs to go up. But I've got a spot for a house picked out, and I'm just taking my time with building it. I just want to slow down, enjoy the process, build it how I want. And certain things are frustrating me, like now I just don't have storage for stuff. So now I'm going to have storage for all kinds of stuff. My vehicles will be out of the weather, help preserve them a little bit. But podcast room, a craft room, and somewhere in here is going to be a to-do room. I do a lot of marketing. I do beard care products. I mean, you go to narrowwayhomestead.com, you can find all kinds of stuff I do. And I just need a dedicated space for all of that. Some people have to-do lists. I'm gonna have a to-do room where I literally set everything needed for small projects in a pile. And this pile is this. And then I can look at that pile and be like, okay, I still need 3 more things before I can tackle that project. Whereas what I'm doing now is having them scattered wherever, because I just don't have room. Stuff gets shuffled, moved, other stuff gets piled on top of it. And I lose stuff and it's time to do a project. There's a couple projects I'm not doing right now because I don't know where everything is. And they're like pre-winter projects. Well, winter's almost here. So then what do? Do I go buy new stuff even though I have other stuff? Like, it's just stupid. Inefficiencies kill homesteads, kill small businesses, are demoralizing to life in general. And so I'm going to try to eliminate some of that. And by putting it up on a second floor, I'll have to walk all the way up here to misplace stuff and to pile stuff in the wrong places, I probably won't do that. I think those steps are gonna help me in my efficiency because I'll only come up here when it's time to actually do the project. And then most projects that are smaller can be done in a small space. I'll do it in a room here. And this spot by the stairway, it's just gonna be a little desk looking out the window because, I don't know, it just seems like the spot for that. I don't know what I'll do at that desk. Maybe Jen will do crafts at that desk, I don't know. But anyway, that's kind of my plans for up here. We'll see what happens. I also am thinking of throwing mattresses in these crawl spaces, if you will. It's not too bad. Sometimes I do have guests over. It would be kind of a great place to just have some people hang out, sleep for a couple nights, and then, you know, the idea is they'll get tired of being here and leave, and then I'll be back in the homestead by myself, which is what I really love. Well, of course, with Jen and all my animals and stuff. But yeah, so I'm kind of thinking I could do some doors, do little sleeping areas, just for a night or two for different guests. I think that would be cool. Because of that, I'm gonna do my insulation on the outside walls. I don't think I'll insulate these walls, but rather my insulation will be back there. So this will be a climate controlled space should I decide to install any sort of climate control, which will probably happen. There's most definitely gonna be a mini split because I just wanna be able to keep the room where I have all my electronics cool. I don't know how necessary it'll be because again, there'll be a lean-to here and it'll keep the sun off of this wall at all times. So this should be relatively cool. So I think I'll be good. And the last thing, water lines. And do jump in the comments and tell me all about what you would do differently. Come on, Mints, we're going down. Yeah, we're going down. Come on. I love watching them go downstairs and upstairs for that matter. He's fast, little doggy. Water lines, basically there's gonna be a water spigot here on the exterior. Aslan, bud. Good boy. Gotta keep the ducks out of here. This is disgusting. And then I got a water line running all the way over here. Hey, settle down. Good boys. They love to play and fight. It's more like fighting, but not serious fighting. This water line stretches way over here. This is the furthest I'll have water from my water tank, which is on the back side of that building. But I'll have a water spigot here. Garden's already like a berry patch there. Gonna do some gardening stuff here. This is more of a full sun garden. I have a garden spot on the other side. It's more of a shade garden. Different things grow better in sun and shade. Jen likes the garden. She'll be in charge of what goes where. I'm gonna get her water. So I'll have water here. I'm also going to, on the inside here somewhere, put a pressure washer, electric pressure washer that's on a reel. It'll come out and I can power wash off vehicles and stuff. It's gonna be super cool. And I am still thinking about rainwater collection off of this. I don't really know how I'm setting it up. I may, because this is on such a high hill, this is a high point in the field where I have all my stuff. I may try to do something just gravity, thinking if I do set a tank, I'll set it back there. It'll be a seasonal tank just at the edge of the garage here. Yeah, if I keep it in a little bit, this building will shade it more, which would be even better in the summertime. Animals just love to hang out, except for Minion, who's busy dealing with hawks or buzzards or something. But yeah, then I would be able to gravity feed water. It would be pretty slow. We're only down 10, 15 feet at the most to the garden. But again, if the tank's topped off, we're actually looking at, yeah, I don't know, 20 feet, something like that. So that'd be decent pressure. Do like a soaker hose thing, just something you turn on and off, turn on for an hour. I don't know if I can do a real soaker hose. I'll not have enough pressure to do that, so I'll have to like do like a PVC pipe with some holes drilled in it, bigger holes so that you don't need as much pressure to put water out. Haven't decided. These are all next spring ideas. Think that'll be pretty cool. Getting water to this building should be easy. So getting water to this building, I already have a water line running from my tank back there all the way over here under here. But right here somewhere I got a T and a water line shoots up here. This is where the camper used to sit. I wanted water to the camper. So right underneath one of these blocks here is my water line capped off. And I'm just gonna do an outdoor underground spigot. You know, it stands up about yay tall and has a handle. I always forget what they're called, yard faucets or something like that. And then I'm gonna take a washing machine hose. I'll keep it close to the building because again, I'm gonna be parking skid steers and stuff in here. I'll take a washing machine hose. That'll go from the end of that and then connect to a spigot that'll be here. It'll go in the spigot backwards. And when winter comes, I disconnect all that, close that, leave these valves open. Those water lines, if you notice, were high in the building. They will all drain out. Freezing and bursting of the pipes won't be an issue. I don't need water up here really in the wintertime. And if I do, I'll have this yard hydrant I'll be able to just open up right here and fill a bucket or do whatever I need. I am coming up with some ideas on how to have water lines in the winter from such a thing. I think if I vent it, so if I would just do a T and but keep one closed all the time, when you open that, let me go over to one. Here we go. So when you open it, most people probably think that the valve connection is here somewhere, but it's actually below the ground. And so when you close this, there's a little hole in this pipe, and that drains this whole line down to the valve point so that when it's super cold, this doesn't freeze and burst. You have to have a gravel pit or something below the grade. That way the water has free access to drain into it. Because otherwise the water will just stay in here and freeze anyway, and then you just got issues. But anyway, just imagine with me, if you will, a hose splitter right here. You've seen them, they go into 2 or 3 different ways. I could go into 2 ways, have a hose running all the way from there down to a garden or a place where animals are gonna need water. And then I can open this up. Obviously water goes through the hose. The problem is that hose can't freeze up. And so when I close this, it's still gonna be waterlocked. There's a bird up there. Minion's all about it. But all I'd have to do is open up the second one that's attached to nothing. It should suck air in, allowing this water to flow back down. This wouldn't freeze. And then this whole hose, as long as it's on a slope the whole way down to a low point, that would completely drain out. And then to run it again, you just have to remember to close the one side that goes to nothing so that the water doesn't just spray out at your feet. And then you would be able to do that in the winter time. Turn it on, run it for a bit, and then just remember to shut everything off and open that up, clear the water lines very, very easily with the flip of a lever, and then you'd be golden. I think I'm gonna start implementing some of that stuff this year because that's not that hard to do. I see no reason in the world why it wouldn't work. I don't know if anyone else is doing it. Either way, it's gonna work. I know it's gonna work. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be so much easier because it's so annoying carrying buckets of water all over the place. I don't know why I didn't think of this other years. Just an oversight, I guess. I should have been doing this ever since I started homesteading. Because carrying buckets when this is sloppy mud and nasty, or, well, if it's icy, it's actually better to walk on than when it's smeary mud. So that's my plan for some of that stuff. I have some hoses around. I'll be setting something like that up this year. So you guys will see some videos on that when I actually get around to doing that. I've got 10 million tiny little projects, but I'm gonna prioritize all the projects that are gonna save me time. That is one project that will save me time. I haven't even talked about shelves. I really only have 2 ideas for shelves. I'm thinking of coming down from the ceiling 2 foot and then back to the wall 2 foot and putting plywood shelves the entire length of the garage on both sides. 2x4s, some leftover OSB. That's just gonna be so much storage. It'll be low priority storage. I'll get some kind of rolling staircase that I can like move along, maybe a rolling ladder, I don't know. Some way to semi-easily access it. I gotta be careful. I fill this with all sorts of convenient ladders and stuff, then I won't have room for stuff. Anyway, yeah, definitely thinking about doing that. I'll be able to put totes and bins up there of tools I seldom use or whatever. It'd be a great way to utilize this 10-foot, 4.5-inch tall ceiling I have in here. Might even do something over top of this closet because there's no reason for this closet to be so high. That contains all the solar stuff. So I'm thinking about doing that along with other shelves. They're like wire shelves just on wheels that can just roll on the floor. I'll organize them in a certain way. If I need to shove them all to the side to do a project, I can do that. So those are my 2 shelving ideas. Pretty sure gonna be a workbench from this man door over to this garage door here. That'll just be kind of a workbench area. I'm sure I'm gonna end up doing something along the sides of the vehicles, at least a little bit. Don't know what that is yet, I'll figure it out. I think initially putting some shelves up there, some wire shelving will get me good and started on figuring out how I'm organizing it. The other thing I didn't really talk about is my placement of the man doors. This one will be very easy to come into and get to the vehicles. And then I put one just as far away as possible. Get in there, get into the shop area. If you're on that side of the garage, you don't have to walk all the way around just to get in on this side. I know that's gonna happen to me if I don't have a door there. I was originally gonna put that door right here next to this garage door, and then I decided this door is close enough to just open that door, walk across here and up the steps. Chances are if I'm doing stuff in here, I'm gonna have this door somewhat open, the big door anyway. Depends on the weather. But I could have added another door there just for fun, but I don't know, what's the point? You know, you got one door over there and then the other door is like 30 feet over here, and to even walk to this building, it's like 80 feet from my house to here. What's another, you know, 15 feet, like whatever. A lot of people plan for walking distance and stuff, and I do to a point, but I also have to remember that I'm already putting on miles every day. You know, I usually, even days I don't walk around very much, it's still a 2-mile walking day. So I'm already putting on a lot of steps, and walking's good for you anyway. That's my opinion, I'm sticking to it. Anyway, guys, that's a garage overview. Let me know in the comments what you guys would do, even if it's not something that's applicable to me. I just want to, you know, what would you guys do? You know, 50 by 30 garage. How would you lay it out? Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.
With the beard and the vision, he narrates his life. Cutting firewood, draining beasts away from city strife. The ducks they roam freely, a quiet army true. Muscovies in the meadow.